Okay, I'm trying to figure out why my video isn't working. I apologize, folks. It is supposed to be working, and as I've said, this is my first attempt at this, and it was working just a moment ago, but doesn't seem to be going at the moment. And just bear with me. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for Canada Day on my very first live stream. I'm delighted that you're all here, and I'm looking forward to further chat with everybody. Please just give me a moment to see if I can get this started. I think I see what the problem is, and I'll be with you in just a moment. I hope everybody can hear me. If anybody in the chat can hear me, please let me know. I'd appreciate it. I am very sorry for this. I was expecting this to work, and I'm not sure what's happened. Okay. Yeah, people who are experienced at this don't have these issues. Oh boy. Alright, I'm going to start again here. Let me see. Canada. I apologize for this. I was really hoping to be having this going right away. I had everything prepared, and I apologize for this starting so slowly. I really do hope that people can hear me. Oh, good, you hear me. Fantastic. Please just bear with me for a moment. I'm trying to get my video working, and it's just taking a moment to get this going. Darn it, this was working before, and now it's not. What I'm going to do, there should be pictures showing up of Canada. Here we go. Some pictures of Canada passing by. We'll just have the flag here for a moment. Just a moment. Today is July 1st, 2021. This is Canada Day. We celebrate it every year. There has been some bad news recently in the general public that I am going to address as well, because it concerns me greatly. I'm just trying to, I apologize for this. I had everything set up and I don't know what happened. I think I closed the wrong window here, and oh boy. So I did not want to start it this way. I put a lot of time and effort into getting this going right away, and for some reason my picture is not showing up. And it says it can use it. So what is happening? And that link for inviting you into the chat is probably not going to work. Okay, I'm trying one more time. Let's see how this goes. Why am I having these problems? I apologize, folks. I had video set and going here, and I don't know why it's not working. And suddenly it looks like I may be able to have it working. Okay, let's see. Am I showing up on the screen now? Well, these things are a little more complicated than expected, that's for sure. I'm just going to copy this. And I should be with you in just a moment, and then I'll be able to, darn it, this is not the way I wanted this to work. I'm so ready to have this all going properly for everybody. Okay. Darn it. I apologize for the sound. There we go. I apologize for that terrible noise. It was all set before, but we should be okay now. There's going to be a new link to join in as a guest. I'm delighted that everybody wants to be a part of this, and I will get this for you in just a moment. New link with this word is most 28. So we have a new link, and we have the password is moose28, and so that's now in the pinned message as well. But I'm not going to be taking guests immediately. At first, I just need to talk briefly about some things that happened. Hello, Maya. I see that there's a number of people in the audience already. Thank you very much for joining. I greatly appreciate your patience and that you're being here. I apologize for things not starting properly. I did test everything numerous times to make sure it was working. And of course, when we actually go live, it's not always the same as the tests. So first of all, I notice the people who are here really early are aesthetics. Thank you for being here. I'm just trying to go through the chat and it's jumping away. Hello Dog, hello P, hello Crash the Party, hello Spooky Bed Hair, hello Oz, and hello Monkey for Banana, interesting name. Hello Elusive Stoned Gorilla, hello Tom. There's Maya, I already met. Hello, Mark Caesar. Wow, there's a lot of people here. Hello, Germania. We just spoke the other day on, whose channel was that? Was that MathPig's channel or somebody else's? It might have been someone else's. And I see that there's, I hope I've caught everybody who's here, had a chance to say hello to you all. Thanks again for attending. Today is Canada Day, and what you see going in the background is a series of short video clips that come from a free resource called pixabay.com. That's Pixabay.com. They normally work on photographs and making them free for content creators. And I picked a number of Canadian ones to show off different background scenes. And hey, Monkey for Banana is Marshall. That's right. I remember now. You changed your name. So these video clips are showing various parts of Canada. Of course, it's not everything. We have a lot of wilderness here. We have a lot of wonderful forests to hike in. We have wonderful lakes. And oh, the helicopter video has audio. There we go. I can turn that right down. I can turn that right off. There we go. Okay, yeah, once you get the hang of it, this interface is actually not too bad. Of course, it could be better, but it's free open source software. It's wonderful. So, I did mention that there is some bad news that has been coming up lately in the media. There was an issue with the residential schools here in Canada in our history, and recently some graves of what appear to be young children have been found. The police are investigating. These residential schools were run by the Catholic Church. I think there's two parts of the problem here. One is obviously the Catholic Church and their disrespect for human life, which is well known. And the other part of it is that when our government entrusted the Catholic Church to run these residential schools, unfortunately what was left out of it, it seems, is that Dog is commenting about the audio drowning out my voice. I hope my voice is coming through okay now. Yes, I'm new to streaming. This is my first live stream, so I'm learning the hard way, I guess. I did put a lot of work into this to try to make a nice presentation. So what our government, it seems in retrospect, probably failed to do is to either have policies of accountability and transparency for the people running those schools, or we had some policies like that and they weren't being practiced and enforced. So it is a terrible mark in our history. It is a tragedy. It stinks of genocide or something very similar to that. And I'm very disappointed about the background on that. And I wanted to make sure that that is not lost from this. At present, we're going forward with police investigations and taking it seriously. If we compare to how the Catholic Church dealt with their own problems in the past, they tend to take it internal and try to hide people from jurisdictional reach of the law. We're not doing that here, and fortunately the Catholic Church didn't have control of the property, so our laws and our system comes into place, and they can't get out of it. They will be held to account for this, so I'm glad about that. That's an improvement. It doesn't fix the past, unfortunately, but going forward we can take steps to make sure things are better. So for that reason, I'm thinking that while I'm having this Canada Day stream, that one thing I'm going to not do today, even though many people requested it, including Maya Adkisson, requested that I signal Canada today, I'm going to refrain from doing that today out of respect for what has happened. And I think acknowledging this is very important. So, MathPig just pointed out that massive graves were found in Ireland too, approximately 800 or more children, which is again another atrocity. I don't know what the context of that is or where the graves were, but it is. Oh, hello, No Direction. Okay, we have another comment in the chat here. As someone who works in Canadian Aboriginal affairs, the issues surrounding residential schools is a bit more. Oh, I'm sure it is. And I would love to hear more about it and find out more if you'd be willing to come on the stream now or in a future stream and talk about this. I'd be delighted to have you on and find out what your perspective is on this matter. So there we have it. I don't know if anybody's been trying to join into using the link, but feel free, No Direction, to try to join in there. The password for it is Moose28. It's all lowercase letters. So at any rate, Canada, we have had more than 150 years of Canadian history. Canada is mostly north of the USA, with the exception of Alaska, which is to our west. We have a number of provinces and territories that comprise the whole of Canada. In the 1980s, we introduced legislation called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which is enshrined as in our Constitution as being a part of the fundamental principles of justice here. And so the Section 2 protects our freedoms of expression, freedom of being associated with a group, freedom of opinion, freedom to be religious if we want to be. And I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in any deities. I don't partake in any religion, and that's fine. And yes, No Direction, I would be delighted to have you join and talk a little bit about this. I see you asking in the chat about it. I'm not seeing you on the console here showing that you're trying to join, but perhaps it'll pop up in a moment. If you are trying to join and waiting to get in, please let me know, and I'll see if I need to refresh a screen or something. And So we have this Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's Section 2 that covers that. And we take a look at Section 15, that covers prohibitions against various types of discrimination. And this one gets misunderstood sometimes because it lists some examples of what can't be, what would be examples of discrimination, such as racism or sex or things like that. But those are only a short list of examples. It's a general prohibition against discrimination, bigoted discrimination. So what this means, and this is primarily intended to apply to government services. So what that means is our government can't discriminate against people based on different factors. And that's why with the recent idea being put around in the media about about the COVID-19 vaccine, people getting passports for this, the government is not doing that because our charter rights prohibit discrimination, and this would be facilitating potential discrimination against people who have legitimate reasons, at the very least, for not getting the vaccine. And so, of course, they can't support this, and I think that is a correct decision. I am actually opposed to the idea of a vaccine passport, because I think it's better to focus all the costs and all the energy and all the resources on getting more people vaccinated, so we can just get rid of the virus, or at least be in the superior position to it, like we are with other things, like with the flu vaccine, helping protect us from that potentially lethal disease. So here we've got a lot of people vaccinated. There are fewer people now who are being infected by the vaccine, by the virus, and so we are seeing the numbers gradually go down overall. So this is very good. It's unfortunate that we still have people in our society who are opposed to the vaccine, are opposed to any kind of government intervention, and the government's job here. Oh, hello, Titan. It's great to see you here. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. And Iron Charioteer, hello, and thank you for joining as well. With this, we need to make sure that that as many people are vaccinated as possible. Now, I do have a friend who I was just speaking with last week. I was helping him move some furniture, in fact. I have the Pfizer vaccine, part 1. I'm still waiting for part 2. He and his family are not vaccinated yet. They want to be, but they're waiting for their doctor to run tests. Waiting for test results to come back, because there's a concern that they may have some allergies to the vaccine. So the doctor's trying to rule that out before prescribing the vaccine to them. So they're trying to do everything in the right way and in the best possible way. And so people like this and anybody else who's not vaccinated or can't be vaccinated for whatever reason, it's so important that the rest of us get these vaccines, not only for COVID-19, but for everything that we possibly can, so that the herd immunity helps to protect them as well. And then in the end, we have a better quality society. I see that Rhiannon has joined the audience. Thank you for being here, Rhiannon, and everybody else. I'm just going to take a look and see if somebody's trying to join here. We'll see if maybe I have to refresh something to see the guests. Okay, so I'm not seeing guests. I'm not sure. They should be added here. I'm seeing a standby notice on here, but has anybody actually tried to join into the live stream through the link in the pinned message at the top? If you have, please let me know, and I will try to bring you in on this. I see that Brute Facts podcast has joined. Thank you very much for being here. And Christina Rain, thank you for joining as well. Aside from the terrible news that's going around, I will also say Happy Canada Day to everybody. And going forward, I want everybody to be able to enjoy Canada Day each year and enjoy living here, because overall, I do think we have a very good quality of life here. We have a lot of natural resources, as you can see in the videos going by. I'm wondering if people have any questions about Canada or Canada Day. I'd be happy to entertain them. Otherwise, in the meantime, I may try taking a look at some things that are on the on our Canadian government website to give you kind of an overview of Canada. And there's some interesting facts about Canada. We do have national health care. This was brought in by a person, I believe his name was Tommy Douglas. And he was, I'll have to double check that, but he tried to bring in national health care originally. I think it was at a provincial level, and he wasn't getting much traction because there were a lot of people who weren't really in favor of it back at his time. And then later, when he moved up into federal politics, he was able to be more effective, and he managed to get our healthcare system instituted here in Canada. So we do have national health care thanks to his efforts. Now, originally, he also tried to get doctors to volunteer to help with this. And a lot of the doctors, Canadian doctors at that time, didn't want anything to do with it. So he reached out, and a number of American doctors came to Canada and helped provide free health care in the meantime on a volunteer basis. And so that was really wonderful. So we have a lot to thank for our neighbors to the south and a little bit to the west in Alaska there in the USA for contributing to this effort to get our health care socialized. So over the years, it's been a bit of a bumpy road, a bit of a rocky road. There's been some ups and downs with it, but overall, it works pretty well, because if you get some serious injuries, you don't end up going into a huge amount of debt for things that could otherwise bankrupt a person or put them in incredible debt. And what I see this is a factor of our government fulfilling its fundamental role to protect citizens, and our citizens being protected from a health standpoint is just as important as being protected in other ways as well. So the beauty of this is that everybody pays taxes into this, and we each have different healthcare needs over the years. And most of us don't want to have any kind of healthcare needs that are major, at least. But when we need them, then they're there for us, and we don't have to worry about our life savings getting depleted. We can still have our long-term plan for our life to continue to operate in a functional way. This is very important for society to be better as well. This is the kind of society I like to live in, where that's one less thing that I have to worry about. So for myself, I don't mind that my taxes will potentially go to be more beneficial to others who are in need of this than me. And and some black female atheists, you just raised an interesting point about Canada and guns. Yes, we do have small arms here, guns, and we also have rifles and other types of firearms. And they are heavily regulated, especially the handguns, especially in the cities. Like in the rural areas, my understanding is it's really not very strictly enforced. If you've got somebody who's protecting their land from predator animals and whatnot in the middle of the night, who may be trying to get into their hen house or whatever it is they're doing, and a lot of the time they just shoot to scare them off, and that works. Some shoot to kill, but in the city, there's really no need for people to have guns here in Canada. It's generally quite safe, and as far as gun crimes go, we have a very small number of them here. They do occur sometimes, but they are quite rare. And there was a time I did see somebody walking in the street one time. They had a gun mounted on their side, and they weren't wearing what looked like a police uniform. So I did call 911 to report it. Police were there in less than 2 minutes, and they took care of it, and they resolved the situation amicably, and nobody got hurt, and everything was fine. And that person needed a review of gun safety, because it turned out they were licensed, but they weren't following the regulations properly. So it is important that these things happen. Now, my understanding too is that there are many people who cross the border from the USA with guns in their vehicle or guns on their person, and very often they get confiscated. And I don't know if they get them back or not. My understanding is that usually they don't. Occasionally they do get through, and if they get caught here with them, it can be a very serious criminal offense. So, so our laws apply to the people who are in Canada. You don't just have to be a citizen for that. And on the same token, our rights to freedom of expression and whatnot also apply to everybody in Canada. Democratic rights, like the right to vote, just apply to citizens, of course. That makes sense for obvious reasons, but the rest of the rules, laws and regulations do apply here. So we're very strict about gun control. If you want to apply for a firearm, you're free to do so. And it is a process that requires bringing psychological testing and background checks and a number of other things. And I think there's some training involved, especially safety training and whatnot. So it's not a quick process. And then once you do have guns, and there are people with handguns here in the city, and they usually just take them to the range to practice or to certain events. That has to be scheduled in advance with our government, and they have to indicate what the route is that they're going to take with that gun to the event and back. And they have to document also an alternative route if for some reason that route is blocked, like there may be an emergency, like a fire emergency or something, and the road has to be closed, so they have to take an alternate route. And if they're caught not following those rules, their guns get confiscated. They could lose their license to possess firearms. So that's that. I'm just take another look here and see if anybody's joining, and it looks like we have one guest here. So I'm going to try to bring you in, and we'll see how this goes. Let me just copy the link here and see what I can do to set up the studio. I don't know who you are, but let's see how this goes. And I will just studio mode. So this is our first guest, my first live stream, and I have my first guest. This is very exciting. Let's see what we've got here. I'm not sure if you have a picture. If you don't, that's okay. I'm just going to bring you in. Hello, our guest, who has a blank screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I tried to upload a picture, but I can't.
Okay, that's okay.
I'll try again.
That's okay. I'm just.
It's dog, by the way.
I'm just sorry.
It's dog.
Hey, dog. I'm just glad that you're here. Well, what I can do is I can turn off your picture, and then that way people can still see the nice background. I think I can turn off the picture. Let me just see here. Oh, that's just the caption. No, I have to have that there. That's okay. So, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Thank you for joining.
I've just been on Sydney Winston's channel, and we've just discussed this at length.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting terrible echo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to turn my volume down here. Is that better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh no, it's still there. It's still there. I've still got the echo.
All right. You know what? I'm going to just find an easy way for this. How's that? Hello.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still hear it a bit. It's a lot better. Is
Okay.
that what part of the arc is that?
Sorry?
What part of the arc is that you've just put in front of
the Arc.
speaker?
You're calling this future studio the Arc. Yeah, this is the south end of the new studio that we're building, and we're just in the process of, we've almost got the roof finished. The main part of the roof is completed, and next I have to build a floor once the roof is completed, because I'm on a bit of a slope here. It's a little bit difficult to tell, but once this part of the cement goes down at an angle so the water runs off, I guess, and the other part is flat and level. So I need to make it all level, so I need to build up more flooring here than on the other side. But that's okay, because I'll be able to put some underground, underfloor lighting on the outside. So I'm actually glad that it's set up this way for that. So what you're looking at behind me is the south window, which is mostly going to be kind of my desk and office area. The studio is just behind my screen here, behind my camera. So people have seen that mostly. So yeah, thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, yeah, we were discussing it. We were wondering actually how many mass graves are there around the world because
Yeah, I heard something in the news that there were some in the U.S. that came up a little while ago as well in the news, and so it seems that. And then MathPig was just mentioning Ireland earlier in the chat here. Hey, dog. There's people in our audience wondering where you're from. Which country are you from, if you don't mind?
the UK.
The UK, United Kingdom. Okay. Wow, this internet is having us all well connected here. What are your thoughts on this terrible situation with the mass graves?
Uh, I count myself lucky actually because I was injured by the Catholic Church as a child. I went to Catholic school and I was
Okay.
beaten daily and
Oh,
caned by nuns, beaten by priests, mentally humiliated
nuns
in
too.
front of
Wow.
people,
Okay.
made to strip naked in front of people. It was and then I'd go home and the priest had phoned home and told me about my behaviour, and all I was doing was questioning dogma
Yeah.
and canonised dogma anyway. Sort of stuff you can't question.
Oh,
Well, I needed answers to this nonsense. But I'd go home and I'd go without food and get beaten at home and things like that. Wasn't a good childhood.
Did they starve you on purpose as like a punishment, or were they starving you for other reasons, just because they were being neglectful, or what sense?
It was a punishment, yeah, from my parents. It was neglect and a kind of punishment. I ended up getting expelled at the age of 10
Okay.
because I was a bad influence. Other children were asking similar questions, and I was angry for many years after that.
Oh.
I was like forsaken. I still believed in God. I spent a lot of time in libraries because we didn't have the internet back then in the 70s.
Yeah.
So a lot of my time was evenings and weekends was spent in library, and I just grew to hate the Catholic Church.
Okay.
But I count myself lucky because I could have been in a grave somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's understandable that you wouldn't be happy with them, since they were running things and they present themselves as being the model of morality and what's all good. Would you say there was any good that came out of that, having that life experience as well? Because it sounds very, very dark, sounds very bad, but I'm hoping that there might be at least a small glimmer of light in a few places for you as well.
To be fair, Randolph, I'm just glossing over it. This is a big backstory of how I was treated by the Catholics there, and they were the days where they ruled with an iron fist. It was total discipline. It was humiliating, and as Robbie said a little while ago about the graves, but I know there was a film called the Magdalene Sisters.
Okay.
It was about a laundry in Ireland where they took on orphan girls and wayward girls that weren't wanted, children, and put them to work in the laundry, and they were mentally and physically abused by the nuns and sexually abused by the priests.
So all the clergy.
When they got closed down, they found 150 odd bodies on their land, shallow graves as children.
Wow.
Or unwanted children, and it must just be their way. They must just dispose of children by killing them.
Huh.
I don't think the Catholic Church are going to recover this time. They've done a lot of cover-ups in the past. and they're good at covering up because they have their fingers in many, many pies, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
But especially like in World War II, their involvement in the Holocaust, the hatred of the Jewish faith,
Yeah.
etc. This can all be read in a thing called the Bigelow Report,
Okay.
which is a must-read. It says about Nazi gold in the vaults of the Vatican,
Yeah.
confiscated Swiss francs, the involvement with Mussolini, the advising Mussolini to go on Hitler's side, etc.
Okay.
They they embrace war, they embrace poverty, just so they can get their claws in things. They're probably the evilest religion on, or the evilest Christian religion on planet Earth.
And there are Christians who push back against that history, and it's of course not accurate, and it's as if there's some kind of revisionist history involved that's creating some issues there. That's it's more distortion, right? We do have another guest here who's ready to join in. They're just coming from backstage. Now, I can handle a maximum of 2 guests with the way I've got OBS Studio set up today. I'm going to, if you don't mind, Dog, I'm going to bring them in as well. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, certainly.
All
yeah.
right.
Your show, mate.
All right, that's what I'm going to do then. Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing fairly well, and yourself?
Good. I don't know your name because...
I'm No Direction.
No Direction, you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. If you just bear with me for a sec here, what I'm going to do is put that into your caption. And this is No Direction. There we go. And did I spell it right?
I don't see it anywhere, but
Oh, you don't.
it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how you spell it.
I think I've got it right.
Yeah.
So
It's rather difficult to misspell No Direction, but
yeah. Now you'd mentioned in the live chat audience that you're working with people in I guess Indigenous affairs. Is that correct?
I've worked in that for about 10 years now, and
Wow. Okay.
mostly it's been in the allocation of funds for particular programs, in the building of community centers, or the implementation of different social programs for various reserves, particularly in like Saskatchewan and Manitoba area.
Okay.
But that said, like the residential school, especially the reimbursement program that began, I think, in 2015, it was, or was completed in 2015. Many of these facts were known. Like, we knew about mass unmarked graves, and unfortunately, due to generally, like, just the apathy of people or weird legal nuances, we couldn't actually allocate funding for individuals to have ground penetrating graveyard to actually locate these various different mass grave sites.
Okay. Were you mentioned in the so I guess you're in that region of Canada still, is that right? Probably.
Yeah, so north of the gate in Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay, yeah, Saskatchewan. There's a lot of farmland there. There's Drumheller, there's the museums.
No Drumheller is Alberta.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's Alberta. I keep thinking, but no, Drumheller on the way to the museum.
Yeah.
So that's a museum there. So, I was a kid when I went there, so I'm getting it mixed up.
Yeah.
But thank you for correcting me. But I do remember there was a lot of farmland on there, and I do know some people who used to live in Saskatchewan, and when they came here, they noticed certain differences culturally, such as the legal system, that the lawyers were a lot more straightforward with each other there, whereas here there's quite a few lawyers who play sneaky little games to try to catch each other on things, and this is somewhat different culturally that way.
Well, it varies in Saskatchewan, especially from north and south. Like, the city of Prince Albert basically poses as a boundary between the two different major cultures that you would find in Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay.
Not only just the two major cultures, but also the two major climate that you would find, or the scope of the environment. So everything north of Prince Albert is just hills and forest. There's not exactly much farmland.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
that must be the west end of Saskatchewan might have the most farmland then, as it branches into Alberta.
No, it is just going straight up north into the Arctic.
Okay. What are the major cultural differences that you were just noting in Saskatchewan?
Some of it just has to largely to do with social interactions between people, and just what is deemed acceptable and what is deemed an acceptable response by individuals. So, like, if somebody comes up to you in Saskatoon, say, and calls you a goof, like, you can chew them out for it, but that's about it.
Okay.
In PA, you can get stabbed in the neck.
Wow, that's actually quite a stark difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a huge stark difference. Like, people in the north tend to be very civil but very efficient with their time. So they want to get things done. They want to get the transaction going. They don't exactly want to chit chat or what have you. They'll do that at coffee when they go to the Thames the next day or see you there or something. And in the South, there tends to be more sort of lackadaisical attitude towards how you allocate your time when you just run into somebody at the gas station.
Okay. Okay. And do you find this ties into the nuance that you wanted to talk about as well with dealing with the recent tragedy?
Not particularly, because the North and the South in Saskatchewan is divided along these cultural lines, largely along ethnic lines as well. And so, like, at the further north you go, the more indigenous population that you're going to find, but also a more Slavic population that you're going to find.
Okay.
There's a great number of Slavic people down south, but the concentration of them per capita increases the further north you get.
Okay.
And when you look at Canadian history and the treatment of the residential school system and the treatment of Slavic immigrants in particular, it is atrocious. Like, the whole residential school system was designed from its very inception to be an attempt at a cultural genocide. And while it is wrongly attributed to, I think it was Duncan Campbell was the minister's name at the time, where it was, the whole point of it was to kill the Indian inside the child.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard about this.
The actual quote, that is falsely attributed to him, but it's not much better the quote that he had to say about it.
Oh, yeah?
Where he said it was, the whole purpose of this was the assimilation, the enslavement, and the assimilation of the Indian.
Okay. Yeah, it is a very horrible, bigoted kind of attitude from the past that I wish never happened. You know, it's a part of our history that I really dislike. And by the way, there's one more person who's just joined us in backstage, and I'll be with you in a moment. I want to hear more of what you have to say, because I got the impression from what you wrote in the chat that there's some nuance that's being missed in I guess the public view on these things.
Some of the nuances that are missed is that these locations have been known for years. These mass unmarked graveyards.
Oh.
And the reason why they couldn't actually allocate funding for individuals to go out and investigate these unmarked graves was because they were still in private hands. So the churches still owned the property.
Okay.
And you can't actually investigate on that land unless there's a pressing crime at hand. And otherwise, you're basically engaging in archaeology.
Oh.
So there was that little bit of legal red tape that prevented people from confirming and locating the bodies of dead relatives so that they could give them a proper burial.
So do you think that the church was probably just trying to cover things up like they have with other things?
The church has been routinely non-cooperative on this.
Okay.
They still have not apologized for residential schools or the weird-ass defrauding scheme that they had with the former premier Maurice Duplessis in Quebec.
Okay.
Where they transferred orphans into the insane asylums.
I do recall recently seeing on a video conversation from a presentation from our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau asking the Vatican to come to Canada to make a formal apology. And I guess that would be a good start. If they did that, I wonder if the Catholic Church might be worried about opening up potential for a class action lawsuit, and maybe that might be one of the reasons they're not doing it. No. You don't think so? You think there's other reasons? They just deny.
Yeah, like issuing a lawsuit against the Vatican itself. You're suing a country.
Well, it is, according to United Nations, it is recognized as a country.
Yeah. The city-state is still country, though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, going forward, I hope the right things can happen. It's a shame that our government couldn't push in and investigate earlier and start getting into this earlier, because of the legal red tape. You know, we have to take the laws seriously here, and
they could have forced their way in sooner.
Oh, really?
They just didn't.
Okay.
There were a number of requests to excavate the grounds of these various different dioceses, but they just didn't permit it to go forward. The Crown just said, you don't have cause for this.
Okay.
Parliament itself could have put forward a motion for the investigation of various murders or mistreatment of residential school survivors.
Yeah.
And allocated funding and basically gone around the court system to allow people to actually search these grounds and find all these unmarked graves, because there are people who are finding their brother, their sister in these graves. There are survivors of these school systems who know that their siblings died and were buried in these places, and they weren't given a tombstone or anything like that. They know the abuse that they suffered. And unfortunately, the Parliament has just ignored these cries for decades.
So there's been a lack of political will is a big problem here. And
there's been a lack of political will, as well as a lack of media attention and a failure of the education system.
Yeah.
Because I know people who live in Manitoba who don't think that there was anything wrong with residential schools. They thought that it was just a place where people learned to read and write. It was just regular boarding school. Because that's what they were taught.
See, I can remember when I was a kid in elementary school, and some of the Indigenous children there had relatives who were in residential schools, and I never heard anything good about it. There was always this strong hatred for the residential schools, even coming through relatives who didn't actually attend them themselves. I guess the indicators have been there for quite a while. Did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me.
Okay. Dog, did you have...
I'm just looking at the live chat, and like people are suggesting apparently my audio is clipping.
Oh, I'm not noticing any clipping, so maybe there's something between me and YouTube. I am on a wired connection here to make sure that I have a better, consistent connection. I apologize for the audio problems, everybody. Yeah, we do have another person in the chat, Dog. Was there something else that you'd like to add, or no direction? If you'd like to discuss this further at another time, I'd be happy to have you on my channel and we can get into the details and go right over it. I'd be very happy to do that if you're interested. Remember, you mentioned you needed to get going, and I'm not trying to rush you off here. I just don't want to keep the person back too long either.
No, I'm going to go back to the chat.
Okay.
You were my first Twitter follower, so it was an honor to be your first guest on your first live stream.
Wow, thank you very much. That's I'm delighted that this worked out this way for you, for both of us.
But you got. I think I've been on the stream with him before. I think. Yeah. Is your name Tom? Yeah, it's Tom. He's a great fella.
Yeah. So.
Catch you later. I'll be in chat.
Okay, thank you, Dog. I appreciate you joining in. Thank you very much. So, what I'm going to do is bring in our the other gentleman waiting here so patiently, and we'll just take a quick look here. I think his name is Tom. I'm not quite sure, so I'm just going to reset the caption. Is your name Tom?
Yes.
Okay, Tom. Hang on, I'll just put that in there for you. So we're going to bring you on. Thank you very much for waiting. I appreciate your patience. And here we have two guests still. Welcome, and thank you for joining. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Randolph.
Hi.
I'm glad to see your project is progressing.
I'm very happy about that too. Thank you.
Yeah, you were stringing rafters last time I talked to you.
And now we've got a roof that's nearly completed. So and
yeah, good work, brother. You getting ready for winter.
Yeah. Well, you see that line of light in the middle? That's not a mistake there. That's on purpose. For people who don't know, who might think that could be a leak point, the reason there's a 2 or 3 millimeter gap between the pieces of plywood is that if there is water that gets in for some reason, the boards will expand a little bit, and they need some room to expand. Otherwise, they will buckle up and they will cause damage. So that's why everything's built that way. So
well, being you said that, there's something I learned from an uncle of mine last week. There's something called a balloon house that they used to use before, like environmental control and air conditioning, where you would seal up the inside of the walls, and there was a space between the interior wall and exterior wall where insulation is now, and at the bottom of it there was like a rat seal made out of wire. That kept anything from getting up in there, and it let the air go straight through the exterior wall, straight up the outside of the house, and there'd be a metal roof. It was real hot. It created a draft, and it would draw the temperature from the ground. They built these houses on piers, like cinder block piers, about 3 or 4 foot high, and it would draw that draft, that cool air off the ground, up around the outside wall and draft it out the attic before they had electricity. It's called a balloon house.
okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing some good things to cope.
Yeah.
And they had something called a dog run house, where they would have like a partitioned house with a breezeway in the middle, and on one side they would have their kitchen where they would have fire, and on the other side they would have their living quarters and serving or whatever. That way, and plus it helped with fire control.
Okay.
If their kitchen caught fire, they could extinguish it before it destroyed their living quarters.
Okay.
The dog run house, because dogs would run between the two sides.
Okay. Yeah, that cage wire is pretty good for keeping unintended visitors out of your home as well.
Yeah, varmints.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm gonna have to interrupt you guys, but I gotta take off. So
Okay. Thank you very much for coming by. Were
Yeah,
there any
I
final
know.
things you wanted to say before you left?
There's nothing really final that I have to say on that. I think we've diverted enough from the topic that if I had anything to say, it would have to be edited down. But thank you for hosting the stream and having me on. Hopefully, I get to talk to you again soon.
Hey, I greatly appreciate you coming on and talking about this, and I will point out also that some people in our audience are commenting that what you had to say was very informative. So I'd be delighted to have you back to talk some more on it, assuming you'd be willing to get into it more.
I would be willing to.
Yeah.
Fortunately, like my partner and I both work in similar fields, so we deal with similar cases like this routinely.
Okay. Well, that'd be
Right.
fantastic. Let's get in touch, and if you know how to reach me on Twitter, then we can do that. Otherwise, did you want my email address?
I think I can get it from Jay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very
All right.
much for coming by.
No, thank you, and have a good rest of your holiday.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye. Well, that was.
You
that was
look like
nice.
Hawaii, Randolph.
So I like these shirts. They're different than the usual shirts. When I see them in the stores, I pick them up. I have a couple. The first time I wore a shirt like this, people compared me with Kent Hovind, and so somebody then asked, "So who wore it better?
Don Ho.
Who wears it better?" Because Kent Hovind wears shirts like this too, apparently. So
You need to have a dinosaur shirt in his honor. Hey, look, aside from the
wow.
comedy,
Yeah.
speaking of the Catholics,
Okay.
here in Mobile, where I'm from,
Yeah.
Mobile, Alabama,
Yeah.
their archdiocese, a few years back, they issued self-reported, I think it was 16 or some odd number around that, pedophile priest that had been stationed in Mobile, Alabama,
Okay.
and were transferred under controversy. And I have emailed and argued publicly to shame the district attorney to open an investigation like they did in Pittsburgh on the Catholic Church,
Okay.
and nobody will respond. They're so politically powerful where I live.
Oh yeah.
And
Well.
it's ancient. It goes, see, Mobile, Alabama was a French colony, French and Spanish colony. And those roots run deep in the culture.
Wow.
One of my good friends, I helped bury out of the, I was a pallbearer in the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. He hated Catholicism, but he killed himself. And I remember that going to the old cemetery where he was buried because his uncle was the, I forgot what the priest is called, stationed in there, the archdiocese or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, they have a number of titles in their structure.
Overkirk. Yeah, he was Monsignor Overkirk.
Okay.
It's crazy, right? But they self-reported like at least a dozen pedophiles in their organization,
Well,
and
that's
there's
good.
been no investigation.
Oh wow.
Don't you think that's amazing? They could you say, hey, look, man, well, we've got a camp back here. There's been a lot of pedophiles back here harming children, and we're just going to admit that they were here, and that satisfies the law.
So they've done their
And
part.
the victims are still alive.
And behind the
Yeah.
so they've done their part. Behind the scenes, their friends are not doing their part, so they go off scot free.
Behind the yeah, they make me out to be a maniac for trolling them about it.
Wow.
I have a bunch of direct messages from local publications where they're saying, Well, we reported that they had self-reported themselves. What do you expect us to do? I said, well, damn it, get the candidates that are appealing, that are running for office to answer, to say what they'll do if they get elected. Make it an issue.
Yeah. It should make
They
it an
won't do
issue.
it.
Yeah. But people don't want to deal with it. Like, there's people who would prefer
Nope.
that someone else
They won't do
handles
anything
it.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it seems that it's one atrocity after the other with that organization. Yeah. Something has to be done. It's too much. It's
Absolutely.
Too much. Just too much. And it's not like just one or two errors. It's like one after another after another. It's intentional by the looks of it. So.
I'm telling you, man, the church is really powerful.
Oh yeah. Thank you to Iron Charioteer for putting a comment in the audience chat. Congratulations on your first stream. Looks great. I know I've got a kind of a unique look here with the moving picture in the background. I'm enjoying working with OBS on this OBS Studio. It's enabled me to do quite a lot here. So there's more I want to do with it, such as showcasing comments from the chat, and there is a way to do that, but I just didn't have enough time to work on that. I'll progress one thing at a time here. But thank you very much. Yeah. So, I guess you have 4th of July coming up because you're in the USA, right, Tom?
Yeah, it's Sunday, I guess.
Yeah. Yours falls on a weekend. Here it's
Yeah.
Thursday, and everyone in Canada's taking the day off. So I know a lot of people won't be showing up for work on Friday either, just because they want the weekend to go longer. It happens every time here. If our Canada Day falls on a Tuesday or a Thursday, people will just skip the Monday or Friday, call in sick or whatever if they can't get the okay from their employer.
Do you know what America's motto is,
No.
Randolph?
For
One nation under God.
oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that before.
Do you know why?
No, actually, I don't know why. I'm guessing there's a
In
political
the
reason.
in the 50s, when we were in the Cold War against the Soviets,
Oh, okay.
which
Yeah,
was a valid cause,
yeah,
but they changed the
the money.
national allegiance, pledge of allegiance, and they changed the national motto to one nation under God.
And they
was
put it on
added.
the money, too.
And before that, previously, it was E pluribus unum,
Yes.
which
yes.
means it's Latin for out of meaning one.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that things like come from the simplest and elevate from that. America needs to get back to E pluribus unum as our motto, and take this monotheism out of government.
That's a great idea. That's the way it needs to be.
Yeah.
Well, as I understand it, it was added to the money kind of arbitrarily without it being a full national decision. So it really shouldn't be on the money. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on the wall in the House of Representatives.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, there is, I think,
Yeah.
Freedom of Religion Foundation, Freedom from Religion Foundation in the U.S. I was reading a year or so ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, they they went after a police force because police cars had some kind of "In God We Trust" or something like that slogan on the police cars. And then they had to get it taken off. And there was a lot of political resistance against that, but the FFRF won. And so they had to take them off. That's my understanding.
Yeah, there are some, lawyers that have sued to get religious symbols removed from different places. Like here in Alabama, the Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore put a monument to the Ten Commandments in the Supreme Court rotunda of the Supreme Court of Alabama.
Yeah.
And that was a bad deal. And that was a good ruling to get that out of there. And they moved it, and so they moved it outside, and another organization made a statue of Baphomet. And then they put the statue, they said, well, look, if we're going to have a statue up there, we want a statue of Baphomet up.
I
And
remember that. Yeah. Yeah, that was big
Baphomet with
news.
the two children looking at the hermaphrodite goat, like Pan. It's it's about like the epitome of blasphemy, right?
Hey, you know what big event's coming after July 4th? MathPig just mentioned it. MathPig just mentioned it in the audience live chat. On July 12th, it's Protestant Day in Ireland. And what he said was, he said, MathPig writes, "We have Protestant Day on the 12th of July. Ha ha. Go Northern Ireland. The difference is there is 3-story high bonfires. Wow. And steel walls on the streets to stop bricks from the Catholics. Ha ha." The Catholics throw bricks? Oh my gosh. I hope I read that right.
You don't get caught after sundown on the other side of the gate.
Wow, that's something. MathPig, did you want to come in and join us? Anybody's welcome. We're definitely open to more people joining, but wow, so we've got July 1st, Canada Day, July 4th for USA, and July 12th for Ireland. I wonder what else is happening in July that we're missing.
Hot weather here.
Oh, we just got through a heat wave. It was a few days ago. The temperature was up to 40 degrees Celsius, and the day before that was 36. So my wife and I, we took the kids to a hotel because it's just too hot. We don't have air conditioning in our central heating system. So it was good that we did that because we came back in the evening to just pick something up that we forgot to pack and bring with us because we're not used to going to hotels for quite a while. And the floorboards, all the hardwood floors were warm, like they've been intentionally heated, like they're about to warm up a sauna. It was amazing because how the heat, when you keep all the windows closed in your house, how the whole house will heat up. So, and then the day after, it was so much better. Today it's much cooler. I couldn't do this if it was 2 or 3 days ago. It would just be too hot to be doing this outside. So your heat wave probably started to taper off already. Have you been through the hottest part?
No.
No. Oh,
It's
it's
the beginning,
building up.
man.
It's building up.
Look, you can Google it. Mobile, Alabama. It's the wettest city in the nation. The Gulf Stream isn't far from the coast here, and we have this bay here that there's like a vortex of humidity every day, and when the temperature starts cooling, it dumps right there. It's rained here every day. It's a tropical climate. This is the Amazon of the Americas.
Wow.
Literally, there's more species of crawfish and more species of oak trees than everywhere else. Just everywhere, all over the place. There's a lot of stuff. We can grow citrus here. They have big reptiles, turtles,
Wow.
and alligators.
Yeah. So not
The
just Florida.
crocodiles
You've
were
got
up
them.
here.
You've got them there too.
Yeah,
Florida's known for the alligators. Yeah. So.
yeah, they're all around here. Yep.
They probably mostly stay away from people though, don't they?
Yeah, I haven't heard they eat people's dogs.
Okay.
You don't want to walk your dog next to an unknown body of water. An alligator may attack a dog.
Wow. I've seen.
Yeah, a lot of people have lost their dogs
I've seen
to
videos.
alligators.
I've seen videos of cats encountering alligators and the alligators backing off because
Yeah,
the
each
cats are
other,
aggressive.
raccoons,
Yeah.
possums.
Yeah. So. That's that'd be horrible for the dog. Jeez, get eaten by an alligator.
Yeah, there was a bear got hit and killed in the road about 10 miles from here the other day. But it was a small bear compared to what you're around. This was a black bear, probably
Yeah. In the background here is
yeah,
a
I
black
think
bear.
about 200-pound bear.
Yeah, we have black bears, brown bears, and up north it's the polar bears. It's just, yeah. There's somebody else who goes by the name Speed of Sound, and he runs a channel called Answers in Atheism. he jokes around from time to time. He'd like to see a white polar bear come up in my backyard while I'm working on stuff. He just wants to see it. I got to orchestrate something for that, make him happy. So yeah, we don't get polar bears here. It's too far south from the climate that they enjoy. So, well, thank you very much for joining the stream here. I do appreciate it. I know we've been on for over an hour here, and I guess I should probably start shutting it down at some point. But
hey, hey,
yeah,
is everybody gone?
Yeah, all the others are gone. The audience is still here. There's approximately 20 people.
Well, there's an audience here.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't know. Did people in the audience have any questions for Tom or me? I see Mark Caesar commenting that alligators can move really fast too, and I've noticed that. So there is quite a bit of chatter in there. There's a lot of people are
Sure.
things. Oh, Scapegoat Iscariot. Thank you for joining, by the way. Has written when you were talking about the motto, he's saying, and that false motto, which is against the First Amendment, is contrary also to the motto on the same bill, which I believe says in Latin, New Order Secular, Nuevo Ordo Secularum. So I think that's what it means, New Secular Order. That's what he wrote, he or she. And so that's a good point, that it seems to be in conflict with the First Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. Given that it seems to favor religion, although I guess someone might be able to argue it doesn't favor one particular religion, so it's kind of a hard one to say now.
Yeah, Thomas Paine wrote a fantastic book.
Yeah.
It's destroying, Christianity and monotheism.
Yeah.
He's just destroyed it.
Okay.
That same thing that America's based on is pamphlets.
Okay.
That's what inspired the movement for America.
Okay.
And the sooner we get back to our origins, there's been a lot of faults along the way,
Yeah.
a lot of tragedy, with the Native Americans, but that's the nature of society.
You probably don't
And
want
that's just the way it goes.
You probably want to be selective about which origins you bring back, though. Which original traditions. Some are not good. Some are fine.
No. E pluribus unum is a good start.
Yeah, that's a good one to bring back. Yeah, that's a lovely one. And then but then the ideas of how people mistreat each other, probably leave that in the past would be better.
Well, we need to acknowledge it.
Oh yeah, no,
But,
I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying forget it. Yeah.
We don't need to indoctrinate children with a sense of victimhood when they're appreciating the opportunity of modern society, because that's a waste of their mental energy to be quagmired in the past rather than advancing with the opportunities that are afforded today.
It does feel like at times that they're trying to bring things back to the way they were in the past. Some people.
Well, they make money off of, aggravating people and bringing up things that aren't alive today. And there's all kinds of groups, and it's a herd mentality. People moving like a herd. Like when you spook a herd, and other people get spooked, or like say you look at a big herd of herbivores, and one gets spooked because he sees a perceived real threat or a real threat.
Okay.
The way on down the line, there's going to be a bunch of other in that same herd. They may run and be just as afraid without ever knowing what the original fear was. We're hardwired that way.
Yeah, the brainstem kind of takes over fight or flight response, I think they call it. And,
right. Whereas if they could see what the other one saw, and they knew that first cow had compromised vision, they said she's full of shit. There's nothing really going on there. That's fine. I'm not going to run and waste my time. It's a safer bet to take off and haul ass to keep from getting eaten.
Yeah, as long as you can run
Right?
faster, as long as you run faster than the other guy, you'll be okay, right?
Hey, look, I ain't got to run faster than the bear. Just outrun you.
Yeah. Yeah, assuming the bear's hungry.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, you want to come down here and visit the coast? I'll coordinate you with all the good cultural places to see.
well, right now it's hard with the pandemic to travel, and plus I don't want to travel at this time. But in the future, it'd be great if if I'm ever going to see Alabama. I'm definitely going to let you know first, because I know you'll be able
Yeah,
to film
man,
everything.
that'd be great.
Oh, and Nerdy Rodent just joined the chat and writes, Happy Canada Day. Thank you, Nerdy Rodent. Really appreciate everybody being here, tuning in for this. Thank you so much. And there's a link that's pinned to the live chat that, in case anybody would like to join in and chat a little bit with us before we shut this down. I'm probably going to close it down in about 5 or 10 minutes if that's okay with you, because there are some other things I'll have to get back to, and then Neil, the 604 Atheist, is going to be running his streams. Yeah. I saw somebody in your background there, Tom. I guess you've got some people there helping you.
That's my daughter.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Close to family is always good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to live at home without her.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a great woman.
Yeah. Does she know that she's on the live stream when on video when you're on live stream like this?
Well, she assumes it. I talk to a lot of people all the
Okay.
time for years.
That's good to be able to. The internet's great for being able to keep people in touch, and in the past, like these kind of celebrations for our annual country national day, for whatever
Right.
country it is, it was always kind of isolated to the country. Usually, maybe some people along the border would know about it, but now it gets transmitted around the world, and everybody can take part in it in a little bit. And here you are enjoying it with me today, and I'm glad all these people are here doing this and being supported by joining into this. Thank you, everybody. Let's see.
Yeah, I love technology.
Oh, Godless Granny was here too. Thank you, Godless Granny, for joining in. Appreciate you being here. And I guess Raging Atheist, yes, you're here too. That's fantastic. So Almost a Doctor just joined in. Hello, Almost a Doctor. And of course, anybody's welcome to join in, and even just to pop in for a moment to say Happy Canada Day would be greatly appreciated. And
Happy Canada Day.
apparently Neil's going to start his stream in about 10 minutes, a half hour early today. So I don't want to be interrupting or overlapping with that, because his streams are quite popular, and we try to make sure we're not in a conflicting schedule as much as we can. So, but no, I'm really happy with this being my first live stream, and we have more than 20 people tuned in. This makes me feel very good, because it means there's a lot of people interested in what I have to say, and I look forward to running more of these in the future, and getting more people on to talk about whatever topic comes up. Today's Canada Day, so it's a good place to start, I think. Do you run live streams sometimes, Tom? Have you done that?
No, I haven't so far. Never. I haven't been able to access my. Well, I used to before YouTube changed their requirements to have 1,000 subscribers to stream. I used to make streams and
They don't
delete
have that.
them
They don't require 1,000 subscribers. I don't have 1,000. I don't have 1,000.
On a mobile device,
Oh, from a mobile device.
because
Oh.
I'm having to use a mobile device.
By the way, these are reindeer in the background, in case anybody's wondering. There's actual reindeer. So.
All I see is the windows.
Yeah, I'll have to turn your window off to show that. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
There's the reindeer running away.
Yeah, oh, it'd be
There we go.
great
There's a nice picture of the
to
reindeer.
get some mobility, some assistance in pressuring the. I would like for the DA in Mobile to
Yeah.
open an investigation and at least chronicle, even if the statute of limitations are up,
Yeah.
it would still be good to chronicle the stories of the victims, the sexual victims
Oh yeah.
of these predator priests that have been through here, but they're ignoring it, and I
Yeah.
don't know why. I've made all kind of public appeals. I've sent emails to no avail, and no one cares. They self-reported their own predatory behavior and protection of these pedophiles.
It's so sad that they don't care.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They. It's sad times right now with a lot of this going on. But these are what's really good about this is that people are actually talking about it. And I see there's commentary from the Raging Atheist. They used to, when he first started. It's why he didn't start streaming until he hit 1,000 subscribers. Never realized they changed it until he streamed on the new channel. So, yeah. Oh, and more people in there writing Happy Canada Day. Yeah. And Mark Caesar, thank you. You're saying that you can't believe that I only have 263 subscribers. Yeah, I don't produce enough content, I think, is probably the reason why. So if I was producing it, I notice when I put out videos more often that the subscriber count goes up. And there's one other thing that drives the subscriber rate up is I'll see an increase is after I've had a public conversation with Darth Dawkins. He's brought me plenty of subscribers. And I appreciate him for that.
Such a coward.
I'll say I appreciate him for
that. Coward, man.
Oh, and a message to Darth Dawkins. Happy Canada Day to you. I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah, do you think he's watching you? He might be.
Oh, I doubt it. But if somebody who knows him sees this, I'm sure they'll send him a sound clip or a video clip. It never fails.
What is the value? Look, there's a guy currently on the internet that his name is Dr. Keating. He's a physicist.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
No, I don't think so. Unless I'm not hearing.
Okay, he's being pushed forward. He wrote a really popular book on Amazon. It's a counter theory for Dr. Kaku's string theory.
Okay.
And so he is believing in faith now with physics.
Okay.
And he's promoting this. Just made a video a couple of days ago. Faith and physics. See, and I predict, I may not be here, but these evangelicals and other people that want to believe in religion, any of these, credentialed educators and theorists,
Yeah.
they will push them forward, like Dennis PragerU,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Ben, Glenn Beck, people like him.
Yeah.
They will grab these people and elevate them
Yeah.
because they support faith rather than empirical verification.
Yeah. They're promoting a conflation, and it misleads people because there's plenty of people who find these speakers to be eloquent, and so they'll believe it just because it's eloquent without questioning it. And just because something is very nicely worded doesn't mean that it should be automatically believed. It doesn't get automatic credibility in my books. So, yeah.
He just released a video called "The Faith of a Physicist."
It's like saying it, like these guys, Frank Turek and those people recently saying that a few years ago that they don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And they've completely missed the point because it doesn't require faith. It's quite the opposite.
It's like Ken Hovind, paleontologist.
Yeah.
Ken Ham, nautical engineer.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to have to end this pretty soon. Did you have any final words you wanted to impart before we depart?
Hey, happy Canada Day, eh?
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's
You hoser,
that
you.
was very well said, all of that. I'm sure the Trailer Park Boys would be proud.
Okay, man.
I don't know if you've seen that show. It's a Canadian show, and it's...
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. It involves a lot of marijuana in the show, and it's definitely not appropriate for kids, but it's funny as heck. First time I saw that show, I thought, oh, is this a documentary? And then I realized after a while, no. But it took a moment to realize it's not a documentary. So... Thank you, Tom, for being here. I appreciate it. I hope your heat wave tapers off pretty soon for you, so you can. It'll be better for you. And again, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Sure, Randolph.
Okay. Have a great
care.
day. Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Okay, thank you, everybody. I really greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. My first stream, and more than 20, I think at some point there were more than 25 people live tuned in watching. And I hope you're enjoying the scenery of the snow falling and during all this hot weather, reminding you of how nice it is to be in a cold environment. It'd be great to be able to transport Star Trek style into a snowy environment, even for 5 minutes when you're in the middle of a heat wave like this. I think we covered some very important issues today. We covered one that's going on, a tragedy that's recently been occurring, and or that's recently being uncovered. And what's really disheartening about it is that it seems to be happening in other countries as well. And my hope is that we can get this resolved in the best possible way and get support for those people who need it. And I look forward to bringing No Direction on again in the future if we can get that arranged and get into more detail about this issue. I'm going to head over to Neil the 604 Atheist's stream next and tune in, because he's apparently just about to start his deconversion story. And again, I thank you all for being here today and for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. And I hope you all have a wonderful summer. Bye-bye.